It's time, everybody. A second features overview video has dropped for Crimson Desert. This is their new push leading into the end of the marketing cycle, okay? As Will Powers told us, the head of PR for Pearl Abyss in the US territories, he told us that they are going to have a bunch of these, that they are going to share a lot more details, and they're going to like really show people, if you don't know what this game is yet, get ready to be even more confused. This game has a lot. This game has a lot, as you're about to see. And they just keep adding to the pile, okay? They keep adding to the pile. Dare I say, the hype is building for many people. You're seeing it. I mean, you can see it in the comment section if we look at this. Great. Now I'll have 20 more reaction videos to watch. Shout out Shacho for that. Hope you're here watching this one. Don't play with my heart, Pearl Abyss. You better deliver. This is my most anticipated game in years. I just hope it's well optimized and fun. That's a common thread. People just hope it runs. So let's see what they showed.
Hello everyone. Welcome back to another Crimson Desert Features overview video.
Damn, she crispy. She's crispy. She looks sharp. Again, shout out PPP. I call him Triple. I've been told by Will Powers they are optimizing it natively, which gets me real excited, dude. I was worried that they're gonna be like, we're optimizing it using frame generation and FSR2 and DLSS 1.7, and it's like all outdated. It's gonna be super blurry. I was braced for it. I was worried about it, but no, dude. Like they said that they are optimizing it for performance native resolutions, and then all of the upscalers just add to performance on top of that, which is exactly what I was hoping to hear. I did not lead him into that answer, but when I asked him, is this being optimized natively or with upscalers? He instantly said, oh, natively, which is exactly what I would hope to hear. So I'm getting optimistic, you know, I'm hearing the right things.
Last time we took a closer look at Pywell, its characters,
Get
the
closer.
stories within, and open world exploration.
Closer.
Today, we'll be shifting our attention to another important aspect of the game, combat and progression.
Bring it on!
Combat in Crimson Desert is visceral, and the battlefield is yours to shape. You will grow your arsenal of skills, weapons, and equipment, and it'll be up to you how you use them. Whether it's an aggressive offense, precisely timed defense, or even using your mount and the environment to your advantage. Combat in Pywell is full of possibility. Wield a wide array of weapons from sword and shield, spears, great swords, axes, and various ranged weapons.
Dude. The hair. You know what I think doesn't get enough love? NVIDIA hair works. I would take any day of the week really good physics simulation for hair, cloth, that type of thing, over ray traced triangles and reflected undersides of highway overpasses. I greatly prefer it, okay? Like I went back and I tried Batman Arkham City a while back, and dude, the cloth sim in that, in like the opening sections, is crazy. Batman Arkham City physics, I think is what it is. Like, look at this. This is a game that's like 16 years old. Okay, watch some of the stuff they're doing in here. You will not see this kind of physics sim even today with like all of the crazy, look at the stuff blowing on the ground, the smoke and the fog moving around him. You don't see this kind of thing anymore. See the newspapers blowing in the wind? The shards from the freeze gun? This stuff was standard back when Obama was president, okay? But like we've just lost it because all of the compute power has been spent on machininess. Drives me crazy, dude. I miss it. I miss it. And back in the day, dude, this was standard. This was standard. Oh, I love it. I love it. Anyway, sorry, continuing. The reason it made me think of it is because in this clip, they show, like, watch his hair blow.
Great swords, axes, and various
Right
ranged.
there. See the hair blowing? The hair blows in the breeze. That's exactly what I like to see. I need that hair blowing. I need that hair
various
blowing.
Ranged weapons.
Oh! Instead of the hair looking like a helmet, it actually blows. It's one time it's okay to blow. Or is it?
Each weapon has its own advantages, so switch back and forth to the ones that best fit your style and the situation you're in.
Dude, her hair looks good too!
Powerful weapon skills can be paired with hard-hitting, barehanded hits and kicks, as well as a wide range of grapples to create seamless chains of attacks. Elemental enhancements further expand your options by empowering key abilities, allowing you to burn, freeze, and stun enemies. So combine weapons and chain skills the way you want and forge your own approach to combat. Your mobility and timing are also a big factor in combat.
It's just crazy.
Slides, dodges, counters, and swings flow directly into attacks, keeping you mobile and relentless.
You know, I read a management book in college where they were trying to, like, the point of the book was how do you, as a manager, find good ideas and not shut them down? Because basically the premise was that a lot of really good ideas in companies never see the light of day. Not because they aren't being put out there, but because they're getting lost in the shuffle. Managers say no, or it gets lost in an email. And it's like, how do you find good ideas and promote them all the way up? And the management book at one point had like an experiment that they had done at a company, that the author had done at a company, where they were like, literally, you put an idea, they submit an idea, an employee does. And that idea gets ranked and like rated by the people evaluating it. And basically what it was, I forget exactly what the ratio was, but it was way harder to dismiss an idea than to try it. So instead of being like, hey, if there's one bad idea or bad reason, I think we should do X, Y, and Z. Okay, well, I can think of one reason not to do it. Then it's cast aside. Instead of doing that, it's if there's like one good reason to do it, they do it. So they just flipped the standard. So if there was an idea to do something, sure, let's give it a shot. And I feel like that's what happened here, where I'm trying to find things where like you can tell they said, no, that wouldn't, we can't do that. No, it just seems like they said yes to everything, you know, and maybe that ends up hurting them because they end up, you know, going along with ideas even when they don't work really well together, or they end up underbaked and underutilized and optimized and stuff. Maybe there's going to be something like that we see. But even some of this stuff where like you see the freaking WWE moves, like the trip move, you see like the triple flip, the roll back into the archery shot. Like there was never a point where they said, well, that doesn't really go with the vibe. The vibe is just, yeah, sure, go crazy, do whatever you want. Like, why not? Like, here we go. And I appreciate it, dude. I think it's a lot of games nowadays. Like, what the hell is this, dude? They're literally going like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle smash. Look at that. Gadoosh. Many other games would have had people say no to this. They're like, what do you want to do? You want to have the player be able to grapple onto the side of a wall, swing up, turn into a bowling ball, and then ground slam? What? No, we're not doing that. But they said, yeah, sure, try it. And I think that's just very interesting. I think it's part of the reason this is exciting, because a lot of other games, especially from a lot of Western devs, would have been like, well, no, we're going to be more grounded. So we're going to literally stick to the ground. You got to run around. And then, you know, it also invites players to play in a much more structured way. Whereas with this, they're just opening up being like, yeah, sure, try to break it. I don't care. It's your game. You know, go crazy. Who cares? And it's just wild. But I think that's why this feels so unique, is because a lot of the philosophies of typical, especially Western game design, are being cast aside with Crimson Desert. A lot of the things that would have been said no to are being said yes to here, and it makes for a very unique game that there really is not anything quite like it.
Well-timed guards and dodges open up enemies for a counter, letting you strike back and keeping up the pressure. The result is combat that feels grounded, yet explosive and endlessly expressive.
A little bit of that Batman.
The skills you've just seen won't all be available from the start. If you've seen some of our previous gameplay videos, Cliff is usually shown at a much greater height of his power, wielding a wide range of devastating skills. But when you awaken in the aftermath of the Black Bear's assault at the start of your journey,
I think they've actually improved that since I last saw it. I think the last time I saw it, there wasn't gore along the cut. It was just the shield kind of clipping into his body. I think they've even added more detail and like graphical bells and whistles to this. It's a good sign.
when you awaken in the aftermath of the Black Bear's assault at the start of your journey, you start from scratch with a more limited set of abilities and equipment. A core part of your journey in Pywell is the transformation from a survivor into a truly formidable Greymane, and you decide how that progression takes place. As we mentioned in our previous features video, you will acquire artifacts, fragments of the abyss that have fallen to the world below through quests, combat, and exploration. They lie at the end of many trials in the possession of powerful bosses and hidden across Pywell, including up in the abyss. Acquiring these artifacts will be crucial to your progression, as they enable you to increase core stats like health and stamina, unlock...
What is it in Transformers? I can't remember. What is it? It's like...
The Rubicon.
Is that what it is? The Rubicon? Am I just making that? Energon? The Allspark.
Bumblebee, get the Allspark.
Yeah, that works. This is giving me Allspark vibes. I'm half expecting there to be Transformers in this too. You know? Why not? They've got pretty much everything else, dude.
As they enable you to increase core stats like
The
health
Allspark.
and stamina, unlock new skills for more skill chaining potential, and enhance existing ones, thereby increasing your combat and exploration capabilities.
I think Will said that that guy's name is like Unka. Love it. Love it.
Some skills and upgrades cannot be obtained through artifacts
something like
alone
that.
and must be observed firsthand out in the world.
Okay.
You may
Dude, the belly flop. See what I mean? They're like, okay, I imagine one of the combat designers going to their supervisor. I have an idea for an attack. Okay, what is it? Is it like an overhead slash? Is it like a stab? No. I went to an American water park. All of the overweight dads were doing this thing. It's really weird, but it's awesome. Watch. Oh!
You may be the type to want to upgrade your stamina quickly to run,
Dude, I wonder if there's something that happens if you do it on water. If it's like normally you can jump into water and survive, but if you do the belly flop, you die.
and glide around the world longer to explore. Or you may want to unlock and upgrade all the
Dude.
diverse grappling skills to continuously slam enemies
Look at
into
that.
the ground.
Like literally, they're doing like WWE wrestling moves. Again, they just were like, yeah, hell yeah, sure, why not? Go crazy. I saw one commenter. They were like, finally a developer who knows how to make how to embrace the fun or something. It was a comment basically like that. But it made me pause and think. I was like, I think what it is that players really miss the unexpected craziness. Like you look back at some of the games from 10 years ago and they like some of them were unhinged. Some of the stuff that you could do, but nowadays I think it was the aftermath of like the PlayStation cinematic third person era that every game started to get more grounded. And I really like grounded games, don't get me wrong. I really like grounded games, and I would typically say that that's my preference. But I'm starting to wonder, like, is it just because I've taken enough of a break from the craziness that now this looks really appealing, or like what is it? Yeah, the Just Cause stuff. Yeah, Just Cause 2 is goated, man. I freaking love Just Cause 2. And there aren't really games like that anymore that are just unapologetically crazy, you know? It just doesn't happen. Thank you, Nexus, for that one. It will have a story. How good it is, we don't know until we see the story. Time will tell.
At Lisa Ray 62 donated
$49.99
through Super Chat. Sorry to interrupt. I come in late, so a yes or no answer is fine. Will my 4070 laptop get me through this crazinesses, or AHOULDI upgrade?
No, I think that should do it. Yeah, I think the 4070 will be fine. Especially like, so even on screen right now, you can see, this is important to note, you can see all these particle effects and stuff that are popping up. So all these like little sparks, and you can see these sparks here from the weapons and all these little bitty things flying up. Will said in the interview we did that he said specifically that the particle effects will be on a slider in the menus. So you can choose where you want it to be. And I imagine there's going to be a lot of other graphical customization as well, like foliage density, LODs, stuff like that. But especially particle effects, which tend to be really straining on systems, you can actually turn that down on a sliding scale, all the way down to 0, or you can max it out at 100. If you want 25%, you can do that. So I think you'll be able to tweak it. You should be good.
Decide which skills you want to combine and unleash during combat, and choose the direction of your progression by considering your playstyle.
Dude, he picks him up by the knees and chucks him off the cliff. Look at this. He grabs him.
Advanced Zero Emperor donated $10 through Super Chat. Most games nowadays are just light attack, heavy attack, block, parry, and dodge, so seeing this much variety in combat is extremely refreshing and exciting.
Yeah, well, and I think it goes back to what we were saying about like expectations, where people are like putting this through the lens of what they've seen for the last decade, which is a lot of Souls-like combat systems of R1 light, R2 heavy. And so that's all they really know. So they see this and they're like, how is that even possible?
At Tyler Heath,
You know?
2591 donated $9.99 through Super Chat.
Thank you.
Surprised nobody has gone and looked at combat and graphics from BDO. A lot of the attacks, weapons, and graphics look like assets from different playable classes.
Like MMA flying type moves. Yes, and this is my sneaking suspicion. We know that they have 3 playable characters, Cliff included, so they have 2 additional ones. My guess is that a lot of the stuff you're seeing, we're like, there's so much. I think because this was being built as an MMO, the other playable characters probably had their combat animations and all that stuff built out from different playable classes in the original pitch of this game, which was that it was going to be an MMO, which I think is why they were like, we don't want to just scrap all this stuff that we did, all this work we did for their combat systems and combat animations and everything. So let's keep it, but we'll just make them playable characters. Easy. And so they just embraced it. Why not? Don't let it waste. The other thing is that they can also, like, there's 5 regions, I think it's 5, in the game. And the Crimson Desert is just one of them. So it's literally a game called Crimson Desert. That's just one of the 5 regions in the game. So again, my guess is that when this was being developed as an MMO, the Crimson Desert was going to be the first place you go to. And then each year or expansion or whatever would add in another map. But as they worked on them and they realized, hey, I think we can do this as a single player game, they decided to just embrace it. And now all of those are in one map for the player. So I think that's That's the thing. I can't wait to see this level of combat in the Elder Scrolls 6. We'll just move on.
While learning and mastering your skills is important to winning battles, the equipment you bring to the battlefield can be just as crucial. As you travel across Pywell, you can buy, find, and craft the gear that gives you the edge in combat.
Dude, what a vibe. Look at this guy. Look at the drip. Honestly, it might be a lady too. I don't know. This is like an Ogren. I think it's a dude. There's a beard. But I don't want to be presumptive. Maybe their species has bearded women. I'm not. I'm an ally. You know? I'm just saying I respect the drip. I respect the drip. What a vibe. The long flowing hair. Why don't we see ogre characters with long hair? Why don't we see that more? They're always bald. That's a good question. Goblins. Why don't we see goblins with like long braided sort of elven hair like from Lord of the Rings? Why not? Why not? That's going to be my contribution to fantasy. I'm going to be like, I created a new fantasy world. What makes yours unique? The trolls and goblins have hair. That is all.
The mighty blade tests the heart of its master.
Dude, he's got my eyebrows. Look at that. What a vibe.
Your equipment can be upgraded for higher stats. Materials for upgrading your weapons, armor, and equipment can be found in a wide range of ways. Through mining and hunting, defeating powerful bosses, through quests, and by uncovering them in hidden locations. You will also be able to customize equipment with extra stats and special effects.
Oh, baby.
Mix and match these across your weapons.
Be respectful. I don't want to see any mommies or uppies, okay? We're being respectful. She is a wizardess, a witch with great power, and you guys will show respect, okay? I'm just saying that because I know how you guys are. I know, okay? Mommy?
Weapons and armor, and experiment to discover what combinations work best for you in the battlefield and out in the world. All of that preparation leads to your greatest tests. Across the continent of Pywell.
What the hell is even that, dude?
Leads to your greatest tests. Across the continent of Pywell, fearsome bosses rule, waiting for your challenge.
Bro, remember how earlier I was like, I half expect them to have Transformers. I was joking, but then they straight up have like bird planes. Pterodactyl bird planes. What is even happening? What is even happening? They fly now. They're evolving. Someone call the president. I mean, this shot I saw going around. It was going like viral because people were like, okay, bro, what is happening anymore? Like, what is this? This is the thing, dude. Like, they just, I think the way that I have concluded Crimson Desert's development worked is that when somebody went to the game director and was like, I have a crazy idea, they said yes, full stop. And we don't see that often. A great example of a game where I think they said no a lot was like AC Shadows. Like, they showed the hunting system in Crimson Desert where he's going around hunting. They cut hunting out of AC Shadows. They cut torches. It's a game called Assassin's Creed Shadows, and you can't use a torch to light up the shadows. You can't cycle, at least at launch. I think you still can't, but at launch, like, you couldn't cycle freely between times of day to go and do missions in the shadows. What are we doing? Like, they said no so many times and cut so many things. We have an AI that can simulate NPCs going about daily schedules and routines. Cut it. no, we're not doing that anymore. And it feels really restrictive and kind of suffocating and frustrating. And I think that with this, again, the reason it's just really refreshing for many people is because they just said yes to everything. Now, for some people, I'm going to be real, and I'm sure there's some of you in chat, you're seeing all of this and you're like, bro, this is like sensory overload, you know? And if that's the case, totally fine. This does seem like the candy shop video game. Like there's so much here, it's going to be easy to overdose, okay? Because there's just so much going on. But if you find this intriguing, it's just, I have a feeling that there's going to be times in this game where you're just like, what? All right, what? It's just going to break your brain, dude. I will also say the level of detail is crazy, with still retaining really impressive shadow quality too. Usually off in the distance, these would just be blurry black blobs, but dude, they've actually retained, like here you can see through the slats of the wood as the sun shines through it. All of this detail in the distance, like they've got it. Will Powers, in our interview, he said a couple of interesting things that I want to mention. But one of the things he mentioned that I thought was particularly interesting was a little tidbit about pop-in.
We'll never say that we've solved the problem of pop-in. But because like in open world games, like that will just be a thing just because of the size and scope and scale of everything on screen. You'll notice it can be noticed to a certain extent, but is it immersion breaking? That becomes the kind of the grounding question.
Like a little bit where he's like, bosses aren't even a big, or where he's like, pop-in isn't, like, I don't want to say we've solved pop-in, but it suggests that you did a lot to fix pop-in, you know? Like, oh, interesting. What's that about? The other thing I want to mention is, you saw me searching for it. He mentions, like, they've shown bosses, like they showed the big spider boss. This looks crazy.
Across the continent of Pywell, fearsome bosses rule, waiting for your challenge.
Implying this is also one of the bosses. And we've seen a bunch of bosses. They've been one of the highlights of the marketing campaign, is looking at a lot of the bosses. But you know what Will said in our interview too that was interesting? Listen to this.
Press even, we put forth a combat demo, which was a boss rush. Bosses aren't even a huge part of the game.
Bosses aren't even a huge part of the game. Now, some people in the comments took that as, oh, so there's only 5 bosses in the game, the ones you've shown. I think what he's saying is that the game is so big that all of these crazy bosses you've seen are just a little sliver of what we have. I think that's what he was trying to say. But that did stand out to me when he's like, bosses aren't even a huge part of the game. I was like, really? Really? Because it seems like they are based on what we've seen, but can we play golf in this game? It wouldn't surprise me. At this point, you never know.
They come in many forms: human and beast, steel and sorcery, brute force and mystery.
It's a space lizard, dude. And again, he's saying it's not even a huge part of the game. You know, it's just interesting. Maybe it's like, yeah, don't expect a lot. There's gonna be a lot. Maybe that's what I don't know. That just stood out to me when we were doing the interview. I let him finish what he was saying. We kind of moved on, but when he said that, I was like, really?
They'll test your limits in different ways. At the end of these hard-fought encounters, special rewards await. Some equipment earned from bosses can even grant access to their signature abilities, or grant unique effects and bonuses. So build on the strength you gain through each victory. Take down these threats of Pywell and prove yourself a true Greymane. That brings us to the end of this features overview video. We hope you look forward to Crimson Desert's combat and your progression journey as you explore and fight across Pywell. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in our next and final features overview video.
Okay, the next one is the final one. Hard? Throbbing? Maybe? 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 I don't know. Again, what's crazy? Going back to your question, you were like, can my 4070 run it? I want to remind you of something insane. This game is literally launching day one on the Mac App Store. Macs are not historically known to be powerful gaming machines, okay? But they're going to have this running on MacBook Pros. Probably not incredibly well, just frankly, but that's like they're trying to optimize for all of that stuff. It's crazy. It's wild. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. I think it's looking really, really good. Again, I think as we try to figure out what the game even is, it just comes down to it's the yes game. It's the game where they said yes to any sort of crazy idea and they just followed through on it. Series S, they have to. If you launch on the Xbox, you have to launch on the Series S as well. My guess is the Series S is just going to, I mean, it's going to be the most graphically pulled back version, but that's just how it is. If I can play it on the Steam Deck, it's going to be phenomenal. And I did ask him about that. I asked him if it's going to be playable or Steam Deck verified, and he said it's in the works. They're like specifically optimizations in the works. And he said if they can get it running well enough to be Steam Deck verified, of course they'll get the actual verification. But if they don't get there at launch, then it's okay. Like we'll get there. But yeah, it's crazy, man. It's looking wilder and wilder. Yeah, sorry, Luke. Despite your best efforts, I'm feeling stupid because you're hyped. I see what you're doing. Yeah, it's again. I think it's fair to be excited for a game. You should always maintain healthy skepticism and stuff. But like I've said, skepticism is just withholding belief in a claim or acceptance of a claim until there's sufficient evidence to justify accepting that claim. And if the claim is Crimson Desert looks awesome and looks insane, I think they've shown enough to justify acceptance of that claim because it does look crazy. It does look insane. Like, I'm still skeptical about performance. I want to see how it runs. I want to see what the story is like, and that's stuff we find out at launch for sure. But yeah, it's crazy. It's just crazy. 86 Metacritic is my guess. I do think it's what Jor also said, and I think he's right, that it probably, there's going to be a number of reviewers who are like, it was hard to control the character in the combat systems, so I'm going to give it a 4. Like, I think you're going to see some of that because we've already seen little snippets, and what we've seen from like IGN is doing pieces about, like, they haven't quite done the hit pieces like they did with Black Myth Wukong. They haven't done that, but there's already some of those articles being written by some of those big outlets where I'm like, I think we're gonna get stupid pretty soon, but I think it's looking very good. Yeah. He took my thing.